Viewers, I'm sure you heard it many times from your prime minister or maybe education minister or think tanks of any country that we need more researchers, we need more PhDs. In USA, several organizations, several universities, they sponsor PhD research. Similarly, in China, the trend of sponsoring PhDs is increasing. Have you ever thought that what's the reason behind this much focus on having researchers, having PhDs? Today I want to share with you my thought. This is something which is not a bookish thing or maybe a theory. This is what I think that having PhDs in any country is so important. The first thing we need to understand that we are living in an era where we can interact with anyone all over the world within a second. So we are continuously having bombardment of information. So in my point of view, what a researcher basically should be, what a researcher is, he is a critical thinker. He is someone who can decide about different options and then analyze them. And as per World Economic Forum, that in coming days the most important thing will be the critical thinking. So this is one thing because of which every country says that we need researchers, we need PhDs. The second thing is that as we know that everybody is making a decision every other day, but when it comes to organizations, you need to be more rational. You need to be kind of more wise in making decisions. You cannot think of your personal choices. What happens in research, the researchers are trained to remove their biases. They make sure through different type of sampling, different type of techniques, that they're not making any biased decision. So the second thing is that they know the exact methodology, how they can reduce their interference. As humans, we know that what we like, what we don't like, but as researcher, the PhDs and researchers are told that they should reduce their interference. Their interference should be minimum. So this is the second thing, that they know they can reduce their biasness, their choices. And the third thing why PhDs are required, and in my point of view, it is the world is continuously changing. So in PhD, what we do a project totally independently. There is one supervisor who always supervises a PhD student, but again the teacher all the time tries that the candidate is focusing on his interest. So what is happening that you cannot rely on people. They have done a coursework, maybe 60 people together, 50 people together, but you need those people who can independently do the projects. So in PhD, you become an active learner. You learn the active thinking. You kind of become an active learner. And as per World Economic Forum, this is the second most important skill which is required. So this was our third reason that why countries are focusing on more PhDs. The fourth reason about having more PhDs, in my perspective, is having the ability to go through the literature. We're living in a world where we need to utilize our resources in best way. One cannot reinvent the wheel every other day. So we have to see that in what area how much progress has been made. So we have to move the kind of progress from there. We cannot reinvent the wheel. So there are different theories. Let's say how engine works, how different machines work. So there are already theories how human behavior in certain contexts should be. So there are different predictive analytics models. For instance, through behavior of some psychopaths, we can identify that what kind of crimes in future the criminals will do. So it does not matter, it's a physical science, it's social science. The researchers have the ability to make the patterns, to identify the patterns, and through using the literature. So I think this is the fourth main important part. And the fifth part is obviously, I'm sure now you got it, that why these people are so important is predicting the future. We have to continuously prepare ourselves for the coming days. As the humans before the era of this internet thing, we used to normally predict about the food consumption, that we need this much food for next year. In this season we cannot grow this crop, so we have to make sure that we have this crop till the next season. So people used to manage their consumption, food consumption, all these things. So the basic predictions were all the time involved. But when it comes to the advanced predictions, such as, I'm sure you heard it, that before COVID-19, the United States Health Department has predicted that after some time there is gonna be some virus like COVID-19. So they have a certain amount of budget, let's say $5 million US. I'm not sure about it, but they have a certain amount of budget for that thing, that the research development team will work on it. Similarly, if I talk about the Saudi Arabia, they have a complete research department on the future of energy, how they're going to manage the energy, so how they can utilize the wind energy, how you can utilize these kind of energies. So these are the people, the PhDs, they provide these insights. These are 5 things which when I think about that, why the PhDs, the researchers are important for any society, for any country, these are 5 things which come into my mind. Now you might be thinking that there's so much development going on in the industry, there are so much developments happening, there are so many big companies. So what's the role of researchers, these PhDs in that thing? Basically, the job of a PhD, of a researcher, is develop a methodology, develop a policy, develop a mechanism, give a theory, and then it's up to the industry. Let's say when first time the Einstein gave the, what they call it, relativity theory. So now that theory is used everywhere. In my field, marketing, customer lifetime value calculation was given by Dr. Kumar. It's used in different organizations all over the world. So the customer experience management, my work, or maybe my contribution is not that much, but maybe in the future what I'm doing will be useful for several companies. So these are the reasons because of which every country is focusing on having more PhDs, having more researchers. I'm sure you find it useful. Thank you so much.